Hello everyone, welcome to the LSD podcast, or Limited Slip Differences.
I'm glad you can say differences this week, Conor.
Alright, you can't. This is a podcast where we talk all things Irish, Northern Irish car scene. Sometimes delve into the agri stuff. I'm farm background. Michael's also a farm background.
Sometimes we might talk about the odd lorry too, depending on how we're feeling.
Sure, why not?
But ironic that this week we're actually recording the introduction for last week's podcast. Last week was the first one we ever attempted, and
Well, sure, we'll let you see for yourself, but hence the different outfits.
it's not as cold.
Nope, it turned out that we thought it was -2. Was it fuck?
Also may have done it at midnight.
Yes, didn't help things either. Did not help things.
So without further ado, here's some of the clips from last week's podcast.
Enjoy.
Have fun. If someone came to me tomorrow and said, like, here, Michael, I want to engine swap my car, as people do, I would obviously try and give them as much guidance as possible.
I'd tell them to steer the fuck away from me. There's not very often I find in life where you get pinch me moments. And that was definitely a pinch me moment. I couldn't remember how to get home.
If money is no object,
If you want the cool cash call.
I know. Jesus.
Fuck, that's random.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I didn't see that coming. So, hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to Limited Slip Differences, where me and Conor, talk absolute shite about cars in the local car scene. We bit about tractors, we bit about agri life.
Do like tractors.
We do. So, I'm Conor.
I'm Michael.
And it's fucking freezing.
To be fair, I would normally say you are shivering.
I am shivering, so
I think it's -1, -2.
bound to be. The noses are running, the balls are froze.
And this is our heater.
That's not on.
Doesn't work.
Fucking tough.
So we're literally
two dicks
freezing alive. Yep, freezing alive. It's fucking cold. It's also, I think it's coming up midnight.
Yes. So anyway, welcome to the podcast.
We started this really late.
We did. Sure, it's always really fucking late with us. But yes, welcome to the podcast. Where me and Michael basically talk shit about cars, discuss different topics to do with cars. And the odd thing about the tractor's not there for I'm from farm background and Michael's from agri background too.
But this week we've decided we're just going to jump into it. So
Yes.
rather than spending all this time talking about ourselves, yada yada yada, which inherently we will do anyway.
Yes.
Rather than going through all these introductions and all this stuff, we thought we'll just get a list of topics pulled together and we'll start. So we thought we'd talk about project cars, mainly because it's mostly what we know.
Yes.
And what you've had to listen to over the last coming up 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah, that we've been sort of really running about in the car scene together.
Essentially, yeah. So,
And you've seen all the fuck-ups I've made.
and the fuck ups I've made too. So,
So,
yeah.
May as well jump into it then. So, project cars.
So,
Let's talk.
Michael, what is your project car at the minute?
Do you know what? The PTSD is starting to kick in.
You had PTSD last year anyway.
Yeah, so, I mean,
What do you currently drive?
well, the Bora.
What do you try to drive?
Rod.
What do you
So
attempt to drive?
I have more than one project, but I suppose the one project cars are never really completed, are they, Conor?
No.
No. But the one that I have probably that'd be the most, I don't want to say well known, but it's kind of the one that appears on my Instagram the most. So
You never
probably
fucking
it.
stop posting about it, talking about it, the whole shebang.
Anyway, would be my Ford Sierra.
Yes.
So,
How did you get the Ford Sierra?
well, this is the thing. Fords used to be so cheap.
But nothing's cheap anymore.
Well,
We're
yeah.
in 2023.
Yeah,
Nearly
it's
said
2023, isn't
Nearly
it?
said
Fuck.
2022.
Yeah.
But so, how did you get the Ford Sierra and
Just-
why a Sierra?
Warming my hands because it's so cold. How I actually got the Sierra was so kind of when you grow up the whole farmery background kind of thing, you
Yes.
kind of naturally gravitate towards 306D turbos.
Never had one, but
Can't appreciate them.
drove yours. Right, yes, I know what you're going to say. So Michael had a 306D turbo. I
was
had a
deadly.
wee drive in it, broke the gear linkage in it, but it was the best thing for blipping. Whenever you're away and you're only 17 past the test, it's the closest thing a car can be to the sound of a tractor.
Yes.
You've got your reek and all that,
Yes.
and they do look shocking well.
Mine's
When you're from an agri background, you'll get it.
So mine's wasn't the lowest. It was low. Actually, there was a time we did lower it the first time with the modified coilover trick, and it was stupid low.
Yeah, so you couldn't drive it.
Literally scraped the shed as we were coming out of it, and then tried to turn the wheel and bent the wing. But anyway, we're digressing. This was back when Ford's Sierras were still really cheap.
Yes.
So I happened to know my car,
Yes.
and the fella that owned it really decided he wanted a D-Turbo.
Yes.
And I was like, that works out well because I've decided I want a Sierra. Well, I've always liked Sierras, but we can get onto that in a bit. So yeah, gave him my 306, gave him a little bit of cash, not that much.
Yes.
Ended up with a partially cosy kitted Sierra for not a lot of money.
Roughly around the $2,000 mark, say?
Yeah.
Around $2,000 mark, yes.
But this was back like maybe 2 or 3 years before that. Fully kitted, fully spec'd. Like if you gave over $2,000 for one, including the fuzzy wheels,
of course,
you were a madman.
They were per man scoop back in the day. They're not. You can't really classify them as that anymore.
I don't know. I would still say they are the per man scoop,
but
that's just because coupes are $25,000.
Aye, they weren't scandalous.
Yeah,
but so how is your Sierra project car?
It's the Vietnam flashbacks really starting to kick in here. So originally it was never supposed to be like this.
So you're going to do what every other Irish person done and causey kit it, causey wheels, lowered a bit.
It just looks so good, doesn't it?
It
like
just works.
It does. And a lot, like all the other lads in the Sierra Club. Well, I say all of them. Most of them tend to go for that look.
Yes.
And then like you see them all parked up, and I'm not going to like slag or say, oh, they all look the same. Like it's kind of the idea.
Yes.
Like, that's the look they're going for. You can't really turn around and go, but they all look the same. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
And that was my plan too. So I was going to finish the cosy kit, put a set of cosy wheels on it, leave it in the shed. Well,
so what changed and why?
To be honest, it was probably around the era we started going to Donegal for the rally.
Yes.
And before that, I didn't really know. Like, obviously, you knew what twin cams were, and you knew from drifting and, like, even playing the games and playing the Gran Turismo and stuff. Like, you knew what the Jap cars were, like Supras and Skylines and all that stuff, and Need for Speed and all that stuff. But I suppose drift culture was when we started getting more so into that, kind of sort of around that same time. And we see that the BN sports kit, now I didn't go down the BN sports kit route, but you see all like the S14s, S13s, like the old FC,
all the Jap
RX7s, all the old Jap stuff, work, wheels, just the mad kits and like skirt extensions, big splitters, just fucking crazy looking stuff.
Like hot boy sort of stuff.
Hot boy is the perfect word to describe it, although maybe some people won't know what that means. Basically, drift look is what I would describe hot boy. Low, aggressive offsets in your wheels, as low as you can go. It's not subtle. Like it's
totally impractical.
It's the complete opposite of subtle. Like it's like really like you
want to be seen
out there.
Yes,
and I kind of just
you want to make your Sierra into that.
I kind of had an image in my head of how it looked. Now the wheels I end up with are slightly different than what I originally wanted, but not a far cry off. But like kind of when you seen all the Jap cars sitting with the tilty wheels and all that, I was kind of like, that's sick. Like that is so.
I hate when you say that word sick.
I know it just sometimes happens, and like it's just like that is class. Like that's just so cool, and like yourself, like you.
So that was you seen that and you were like, that's the way I want my car to look.
Yeah, I just was like, I think I could do something different here, and I suppose before that, like I had the 207, and it was something that wasn't really that common at the time. With the way I done everything with it, so I kind of like being the odd one out, I guess, in that way.
Yes.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm so individual. Like, I'm not. But like, I kind of like, I have my own style. And then, so I was like, right, you know what? I'm going to actually like go down the route of like this like hot boy style and, you know, go for the more aggressive front splitter.
So instead of coilovers, you were like, I wanted to go with air or hydraulics.
Well, I ended up with hydraulics, but yes, air was definitely a consideration. Then went hydraulics. Now, true hot boy will go for like I said, a 3.26 per coilovers probably, and go ridiculously static low.
Yes, but you want to be able to drive the car.
I actually originally was going to go really static low. I had a set of gas coilovers bought, and I was like researching to try and find like the spring rates and all this here of what I could get away with. I'm so glad I didn't.
Yes.
Our roads are shite.
They are.
Like, no, hydraulics isn't the nicest thing to sit in, but at least I can raise the car when I come to a speed bump.
Yes.
Like, so very quickly I caught myself on and realised that this stupid static low car, it would only have ever been a shed queen if we'd have done that. You just couldn't have driven it. Like, so ended up going down the route of hydraulics, and then the plan was when I'd finished that, I was like, okay, I'll do this style, and then I was actually going to go and buy a Jap car.
Yes.
So I get the Sierra finished, and then I would go, okay, cool, I've done this, and because I've always liked Sierras, I was like, yeah, I'll hold on to it, and I'll go and do something crazy with like, well, I say go and do something crazy as if I have unlimited money, lol. But I'll go and do something with a Jap car, and I was all on for an S14.
Yes.
So I was like, yeah, I'll finish the Sierra.
So that'll do for a year, then put it away, and then you'll buy another car.
A couple of years, you know, 2-litre twin cam engines, pretty much bulletproof, and they're a great car for the good old Irish sport of diffing.
Yes.
So, you know, not incredible power, you're not going to send it round Eglinton, third gear, clutch kicking in the dry, but
yes,
for, you know, the fun of ducking, diving between cones and between people and all, like, it's like, you know yourself, it's good fun, like,
yes,
perfect car for that.
So why no S14 then?
It all started a rainy August afternoon in 2017, and one of our mates used to have an S15.
Yes,
if you remember it. And this was before he'd done all like the turbo and the link.
Just standard S15. Yeah.
Standard S15, I think, with maybe the blow off valve blanked off, so it made flutter noises.
Yeah,
and it was left off here, and whatever way it was, the mechanic wasn't available to take it at a certain time, so it was left here, and I was asked, here, can you leave it off of the mechanic? And I was like, all right, cool. May have taken the car on an extended drive to the mechanic.
So what you're saying is you did not take the car to the mechanic, you went and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to test drive this car, see what it's like.
The end destination was the mechanic.
Just took you away to get in there.
I think I put fuel in it.
Fuck me.
Because I felt bad. And in usual Jack style, there was no rear tires left on it.
Is that because of you, or is that just because...
Oh, no, like, I wasn't going to do that, like, but it was a pissing wet day anyway, so
yes,
it wouldn't have mattered. But I remember, like, going up I think it was the hill at the Marfell bypass, and I just remember, like, the noises, and it was still loud at that time, and had all the turbo flutter, and I was just like, this is class. And then I was just like, I could do this with a Sierra.
So you're going to put an SR20 into the Sierra then?
That was actually the original. In fact, I think when we spoke with Jack, at one point Jack had talked about RB swapping the Sylvia.
Which would have been deadly.
Would have been class. And I'd pretty much said, sell me your entire running gear from the Sylvia, because you're going to basically, because like you'll be going down a different route.
Yeah.
So I would have got, you know, engine, gearbox, intercooler, everything. That was my plan.
Yes.
Well, I said that was my plan. I said that to Jack in the group chat, and then it just sort of never really materialized, and then Jack decided he wanted to sell it for bigger and better things.
Yes.
So then came across the Saab engine. This is kind of where it all starts to really unfold. So came across the Saab turbo engine.
Yes. Are they similar to an SR20 power-wise?
In standard form, no. No.
But can they take a lot of power?
Well, this is the difference again between they would have a lot heavier internals
So
than a
were you thinking
SR20.
then at the time the Saab engine would have been cheap power and done, in your opinion, what the SR20 could do?
If you were to stick a Saab engine in a Corsa or a Cavalier
Yes.
or something that's not, still hasn't really seen Cavaliers have, but like Corsas haven't really seen that real price hike.
Yes.
It's mega bang for your buck because the engines will take 500 horsepower in standard internals.
Don't know, sure, will SR20s do that?
I don't think so. I think once you start going over 350 in an SR20,
They're going to go bang.
I don't know enough about them, but you see enough memes.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. So ended up very naively thought, it's cheap horsepower.
Yes.
And you've heard of a thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect, haven't you?
I personally haven't, no. What is
Little
it?
bit of knowledge is a very dangerous thing.
You're fucked then.
This is kind of, so this is kind of where we start going.
Michael's the kind of guy that whenever he does one course, he tries many different things, and one of them might stick.
So I, before that, could just about change brakes and service a car. Now, that's 5 or 6 years ago. Time to change. But back then, I wouldn't have... the most work I did was change wheels. Honestly.
So you could change brakes.
Yes.
You could service a car.
Yes.
What did you attempt?
Full engine swap and pretty much full drivetrain swap of a car.
It's quite a thing to try and achieve.
Well, the drivetrain swap was actually pretty easy because it's full Granada Cosworth running gear. And Ford being Ford, everything just fits.
Well, that's handy.
So, cheap upgrades at the time. But,
So
done a welding course and
Yes.
thought, okay, I can weld now. So, got a MIG. Went, yep. The hardest bit of this will be setting the engine in and lining everything up straight.
So was it?
No, that was the easiest bit. I had no appreciation for sumps and how difficult sumps can make your life.
What we did find though was sumps should not have brake cleaner in them,
Yep.
and to try and clean the sump
Yep.
with brake cleaner,
Yep.
you shouldn't set it on fire.
Yep.
We're
That-
dimwits.
That's right. Forgot about that one. There's more PTSD kicking in. Then basically it started off from being, this is only going to be the standard engine because I had the ECU and it was mapped and all that there, and had the loom adapter and all there, and kind of started to figure out how to use it, how to get that all done. And then I, over time, kind of started learning the wiring and farted about the loom and got it all done, and but it just kept hitting problem after problem. I couldn't get oil pressure for ages because sump wouldn't seal properly.
So how long were you working on it then to do this?
Well, it was between me first time I'd ever even looked at an engine mount in a car, let alone taking the bloody engine out of the car, was, I think it was September 2017. First start.
And we're now in 2023.
Well, first start
Yes.
on the engine
Oh yeah.
was 2019. And you remember what happened there. But just to account for everybody else who doesn't, my turbo swallowed a seatbelt.
Which was holding the engine to the engine crane.
Yes. And also I had wired the ignition to a 12-volt live. So whilst my turbo was snacking on the seatbelt, I was sitting with the key going, fuck's this not turning off?
And to make
panic
matters worse,
station.
what wasn't blanked off or checked or looked at?
The idle control valve was
stuck
just...
full.
No.
No, it wasn't stuck full open.
No, it just didn't put the line connecting the inlet manifold and the idle control valve. So basically there's a big gaping hole in the inlet manifold, so she was just sucking in air left, right and centre. So she revved to 5,500 RPM
straight
on
away.
first startup.
To be fair, we were smart enough at the time to crank the fuck out of the engine.
Well, the only reason I think we cranked the engine so much was just because I couldn't get oil pressure for so long.
But still, at least there was lubricant.
Oh yeah,
all
there
over.
was oil in around. Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's what saved the engine. Ironically, you know, we'll get to that. And yeah, so I was very scary. Then realized this is what I mean. I'm not a mechanic.
No.
And I am not one of those people, to my absolute detriment. Like, another one of our mates done the V8 swap to his Lexus. And
Yeah.
to be fair, I can't really take much credit. I did help him with it because I made so many mess ups with my own car.
Yes.
But he researched everything. He went home and he researched everything. And anytime he either took a grinder or
are you trying to
a
tell
drill,
me that you didn't research anything?
nothing?
Oh, you're a dumb what? You're a dumb what?
Nothing. I just was so I was like, we'll try and just do this, and then I was like, fuck,
are you that guy that goes into an exam in uni without looking at a textbook and just says, I'll wing it? Are you though?
Not towards the tail end, but at the start, yeah. Yeah, it would have been. But so realized kind of a lot of my mistakes then, and then that was okay. Throughout 2020, decided then to change. So I was running Omega gearbox, and then after that, I was like, well, the engine and all's out, the car. So the goal was always Donegal Rally 2019, and it was originally. Well, I was actually originally 2018 on standard power. Then I was like, well, when the engine's out, I may as well go for a bit more power. And then
whenever the turbo was swallowed,
then I was like, I may as well go for even more power.
Yes.
And then in 2020, COVID come along.
Yes.
Furlough happened.
Yes.
And I had a lot of time in my hands.
You had to kill it doing something.
I spent a lot of time and got the car put together, got it up and running.
Yes.
Could not get the gearbox to work.
Yes.
So, had bought a cheap man's adapter kit.
Yes.
Had bought had kind of bought. When I say I hadn't researched stuff, obviously I knew what to buy.
So you'd done a bit of research.
I knew what to buy, but probably getting it working.
You didn't do enough research.
I just didn't have. I just couldn't get my head around some of the stuff at the time. And now when you see it, I'm like, that makes obvious sense. And I've ever since, there's a lot of people who's had similar issues, and I've been like, try this, and try this. This will be one of your problems. And they've got back to me and, oh, this worked, thank you. But I had to make them fuck ups to realise that.
So, in the space of the amount of time that you decided to do the engine swap and you decided to take it on yourself, you made more or less quite a lot of fuck ups. But in hindsight, looking back at it now, you making all them fuck ups, you know your car inside out. But so, what then happened to get the car going?
I threw in the towel.
You threw in the towel.
And I suppose my number one fear was I didn't want to hand the car to someone and then look at it and go, Jesus, that's the worst workmanship I've ever seen in my entire life. Get that car the fuck out of my yard now. I think that was said to me in a much nicer way. But so I gave Ali McLellan the call.
Yes.
And was basically explained the situation, brought the car up, and Ali said, he sort of re-rung me and goes, look here, you're maybe not going to like the sound of this, but there's a lot more potential. He's like, you can tell it's your first time you've ever swapped an engine in a car.
Yeah.
Now, Ali's not a dick.
No.
So he's not been a mouth, but I mean, it's right. Some of my techniques, for instance, when I done the Saab loom, originally, I soldered everything. And then second time round, I used them heat shrink solders when I did the ECU master loom.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, this is much quicker and much easier. But all you had to do was go whoosh.
And it pulled apart.
And they pulled apart. So the loom I had originally done the Saab ECU or the Saab loom was a much better job.
So you give the car to Ali, and then Ali got the car more or less done to a standard where you were happy enough to drive it with.
Ali got it up and going, and then basically we spent 2022 fault finding, or rather the car found the faults for me.
And the PTSD really kicked in 2022?
Well, the first proper journey out in the car was Donegal Rally.
Yes.
And that weekend it done 350 miles.
Yes.
And I had a leak at so where the water goes into the turbo,
Yeah.
the water outlet of the turbo, the banjo bolt there was leaking.
Yes.
Sorry, it wasn't the banjo bolt. It was actually where the pipeline connected to the banjo bolt was leaking.
Yes.
And you can recall, I think it was on a Saturday, started to lift the temperature hand.
Yes.
And it was that whole weekend it was losing coolant.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out like fuck.
Yes.
And it was very simply the
because you were realistically test driving the car to what is the Donegal Rally around Letterkenny and that.
For those of you that don't know what the Donegal Rally is, it's basically an Irish car festival. Well, it's not. It's the Donegal International Rally, which shouldn't be looked down upon. We kind of look at it in a different way because of the culture, I suppose, we've always seen it with. But the Donegal Rally International Rally is a big deal. It's world famous. It literally is world famous. However, there is a certain section, or I guess there's a certain part of it, which is, I guess, the young boy Irish car culture. I suppose the boy racer Irish car culture.
We all more or less
we
ascend upon Letterkenny and just cruise around it. And
go to King of the Cone.
Enjoy each other's cars, look at them, have a bit of crack and banter.
And everybody ends up in the pub, yeah.
It's like H2O in America, but like an Irish version.
So more buckfast.
Well, there's that.
And
more basically just everybody driving cars that are really popular here.
Yeah, so everybody's just lapping about. But so you spend most of your weekend sitting in queues.
Yes.
So watching your temperature hand go up when you're sitting in a queue on the first probably big drive of your car is pretty soul destroying.
Yes. So what would you change now about the car?
Do you know?
Because we'll talk more about Donegal Rally at another stage.
Oh yeah, Donegal Rally. I'll definitely get another mention at some point. Do you know, I ask myself this question quite a lot, and sometimes I turn around and say,
hopefully it's not a big list.
I think, now the engine's up and going, and I know it's going well.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge the Saab swap by any means.
Like, now you know the car a lot more, basically.
Well, it was built well. It's destroyed every other piece kind of in around the engine.
Yes.
Apart from the engine itself. Well,
but
no,
like
it did destroy an engine. We forgot about that bit. So, first time getting it mapped.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I do.
First time getting it mapped. Mapper rung me and went, "This car's not making much power." And I was like, weird. He goes, "It's only made 300. And I was like, okay, turbo that size, I'd estimated about 400.
Yeah.
380 plus. And that 380 was being very conservative. And he was like, oh, and then the next time it made 280, and the next time it made 260. And then he was like, and she's dying off here at 6.2. And then I got a phone call saying, you need to come lift this thing. It sounds like a tractor.
Oh.
And I mind going to lift it. And then at the same time he went, I've done a compression test in this thing, and these are like NA numbers. He's like, now if this was a Honda engine,
yes,
the Honda's in a bit.
Yes.
If this was a Honda engine, I wouldn't have any concerns. But this is not a Honda engine. This is a turbo engine. Compression ratio is lower. Blah blah blah. And he's like, this is very very high. He's like, are you sure that's not an NA engine?
Yeah.
And NA engines in those B204s, they're actually quite rare.
But it would happen to be your luck.
Murphy's Law descended upon me once again, and turns out that I had an NA engine. And someone must have blown the original engine and decided... So, this is the thing, you would never have known, because everything, and I mean everything, bolted up perfectly. So, had to get another 204 engine.
Yeah.
Everything I had bolted up. There was nothing needed machined, nothing needed drilled, nothing. No changes whatsoever. Just literally the only difference in the engines is the pistons.
Yes.
And the cams.
Yes.
Cams of short duration or
totally,
whatever.
Yeah.
So couldn't... I was absolutely devastated when it happened, but anyway, engine number 2 went in. She made what, 416, 418 or something.
Yes.
On 95.
Just a standard petrol. Just standard petrol.
Standard petrol. Yeah, standard petrol, because petrol over here is fucking shite.
Aye, we shouldn't learn that in England whenever we went over there.
Yeah, they get 99 in the pumps, the bastards. But anyway, you're saying about what would I... So back, I know I've went off on a bit of a tangent, I do this, but looking back on it now with the car going, the Saab engine's definitely...
You're happy with it?
I'm happy with it.
Yes.
But for me, personally, attempting that swap myself, never should have done it as a first. Should have been like a Z-Tech.
Yes.
Or
something simpler.
Or should have actually ran the original engine and done forged pistons and rods.
Does anybody do this though?
Yeah, Paramax.
Oh,
they supply.
Has
that.
anybody done that over here though?
Yeah, there is. There's a fella down the country has it done. And then you can put the Scorpio head, so
Yes.
16 valve, and that would have been more my level, because realistically, the engine would come
Would it
out.
have been less expensive?
This is the thing. You're out a lot of money. Like, I was going to be out the money in the ECU anyway.
Yes.
But at the time, I seen Saab engine £450. I was like, ooh, cheap. Whereas like forged rods and all that there for like the 2-litre twin cam engine was like, £1,300 or something. I was like, why would I do that to that engine when I could buy a Saab engine for £450? But again, that's the too little, or a little bit of knowledge is a very dangerous thing. Because all I seen
We're all
was...
naive whenever you're young, basically, yeah.
Well, it was basically, I seen that the Saab engine can take a lot of power, but I did not think about anything else
yes.
surrounding it. Like, I wasn't thinking, I need this size of an intercooler and I need a bigger radiator and I need all this here. Like, none of that. Even though it's nowadays, like, it's absolute logic. And back then it should have been logic too, but...
Yeah.
I just was like, this will be a handy swap. And the thing is, all the rest of us at the time, none of us had done this. None of us knew.
No, totally.
Like none of us knew, like, really, like, what.
Like, the knowledge over the years I have gained from yourself and from the other guys we run about with has been pretty mental, to be fair, around ECUs, engines. From swapping them, working on them, even though some of the mates are mechanics.
Yeah, well, that definitely does help.
But like, you can enter conversations that you could never enter before, and have a bit of an idea what people are talking about. And without that, you wouldn't have a clue.
Mm.
But that's part and parcel, I suppose.
To be fair, definitely what I would have done again was maybe not so much the engine part. Well, don't get me wrong, what I have now is great.
Yeah.
When it works. And you're not sitting with a clutch with a blowing centre out of it.
No.
The whole Granada swap, bigger brakes, because
Yeah.
then that allowed me to run VW hydraulic suspension. Like, because it's the same hub.
Right.
Yeah. So stuff like that. So that's the type of stuff I would research. Like, I knew all about...
You research the stuff that doesn't...
the hot boy stuff, yeah, the Stancy boy stuff. See, like...
Oh, God.
Yeah, so, I like that kind of... Yeah, like that stuff, like, I definitely was glad I'd done that.
So was that way you made everything bar the car work?
Yes.
Madness. Absolute madness.
If someone came to me tomorrow and said, like, here, Michael, I want to engine swap my car, as people do, I would obviously try and give them as much guidance as possible.
I'd tell them to steer the fuck away from me.
I'm probably not the person to go to be fair. Like, you just say, there's Ali, go talk to him. I guess
Michael puts big, bright ideas into your head.
I would just say, like, I wouldn't... the first thing I would ask someone is, what's your mechanical knowledge and what's your fabricational knowledge? And they say, yeah, look, I've mechanicked for years and I'm a fabricator. Then I would say, okay, good enough. Then
yeah, go for
you're
it.
happy enough to make engine mounts and all this. Yeah, no problem. Oh, then
you're laughing.
My personal advice would be, I mean, Ali made my sump for me, but you
Yeah.
can't. There's actually a guy in Poland now makes rear-wheel drive sumps for Saab engines, which
Did you know about this at the time?
didn't do it at the time whenever I was doing mine originally.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough.
So, there's since like the Saab swap's become a lot more popular since.
Yes.
So probably Michael's going starting it in 2023, like the drift car, the other project. We'll talk about that another time. Like it's going Saab engine too,
Yes.
because I have all the spares,
Yes.
and I'll just buy one of them sumps and
Yes.
throw the engine mounts at it, and now I know the engine fairly well, and of course I can ring Ali pretty much any time and go
For a bit of help.
help.
Yes.
So yeah, but like definitely if you're thinking of doing some form of engine swap to your car, look and see what options are
Actually,
there.
fucking research it.
Well, look and see what options are there that you don't have to do a lot of fabrication unless you're game and you've time and you've space.
Yeah.
Because time is the biggest killer for me. Well, money.
Yeah.
Time and
Money wasn't endless.
Money's not money's not endless. And time's not in it, and you have to work for your money.
True, you do.
So the more money you want, the more you have to work. So you'd spend a lifetime working to go and buy your manifold, and that's maybe 2 months' wages, and then you can't afford to buy anything else for
Living and putting it all life.
pretty much. But we've talked a lot about me, so you're a Honda guy.
I appear to be, yes. So
You're a
I
Honda
have,
guy.
I have an EP3 Type-R, yes.
Why did you go down the route of the EP3? Because for me personally, if I was to go for a Honda, like EP3 sound fucking phenomenal. Like
Yes.
they always have done.
Yeah.
Part of me lies with an EK9.
Love EK9s too.
They're class, but
Yes.
the EP3 is probably the Irish star, shall we say? It's kind of the
Suppose in a way, yes. Well, the reason I went EP3 was, suppose like we all did whenever we were younger, cruising Marfeld, and plus, cousin of mine actually bought one brand new from Honda. So really,
how much
he gave. He actually told me quite recently, 14,500.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
When we were in Donegal,
So when I was in Letterkenny
Yeah.
there last June, young fella came over and just happened to be chatting, and he said that one sold in Cork for €15,000.
which in today's economy is probably £15,000.
That's fucking mental.
So
And when I said that realistically, if I had to let mine go, it sounds mad money for an EP3. Don't get me wrong, but I would probably need 10 grand.
when you think about you can own a car for 18 years
And it
lose
not really lose much.
lose £4,000 on it.
And if it was lower mileage, even more again.
Well, your car was low mileage.
It was, but so were you, Michael, decided, I've drove an S15, love the turbo flutter, I want to do that, or
It's
make the
addictive.
Sierra more into that.
It's
I was
addictive, yeah.
like, I just want to fucking drive it.
There is something about NA power.
There is, strangely enough, the reason why I loved EP3s was the noise.
The noise.
So,
The noise.
from-
K20 engine. The noise. Phenomenal engine.
So for years, really, at the time, it was a Marfeld. It was about 1920, and just cruising along as usual, and seeing, I think it was a Nighthawk Black, Mugen Wing, HKS Hyper, and he was on the limiter. Must have had a decap for those flames coming out over two. Maybe mapped, not sure. And I was hooked.
What age were you?
About 1920.
I
So
thought it was maybe before that.
before that, one of our first conversations actually over Facebook, I was like, so I had a 5-door Polo, so I was very lucky enough that mother and father bought me a first car.
I was also
So
lucky
it's
enough
very
to be in that
privileged that way.
position, to be fair. I've privileged as well.
But I'm always form over function, and they bought me a 5-door. So instantly I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. But here, it was a free car, and thing only had like 12,500 miles. Whenever
How many did it have on it when you sold it?
Sold it with 175,000. So I had my first car for 9 years.
And how many of those years was it lowered?
We lowered the car in 2014.
Yeah.
So it was lowered at 37,000 miles.
Yeah, I lowered mine at 29.
We're a set of bastards.
I know, but like...
So,
I know, but like...
Fun fact, sure, I borrowed your subwoofers, threw them in the back seat, and tried to tell the parents that I had put a subwoofer in the back, and it was that heavy, it lowered the back of the car. How naive we were.
So, I suppose, foreshadowing to an extent,
yes,
of, I guess, mine and your mechanical knowledge. How did us installing the coilovers in your Polo go?
So, you know things are going great when the first bolt I take to shears.
Yes, that's actually common enough with VWs.
So,
we know that now.
Anybody that does any mechanical work knows that lubrication is hard to beat.
And heat.
And heat.
We had neither.
We had... Anyway, the Polo's first car, we took to it. It took a week to do the coilovers between 3 different people.
Yeah.
Which is absolute madness.
When you think about it, like, it's not even...
It wouldn't take me a week now, but... Like,
no. Maybe the thing is, it would maybe take a night, and the only reason I say that is people go, oh, you can have coilovers out in no time. Like, I was able to take all 4 coilovers out of my Sierra in 20 minutes. Why? Because they've been bolted in, and all I had to do was unbolt them and pull them out.
Whereas Volkswagens love to have sleeves.
Sleeves, rust.
Yes.
Rust is the best weld I've ever seen.
Oh, totally. Originally we started chatting on Facebook, and I wanted to sell the Polo for 1600 EP2.
That's right.
So when I was at school, there was an EP2 that used to cruise about lunchtime.
Yes.
Probably the fella was doing a trade or something, got out of tech lunchtime, and had one with an exhaust on it. Loved the noise of them. Loved the look of the EP3 with the Mugen wing and that. And then, just before COVID hit, made the decision, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to save, and I'm going to buy one. Contacted a mate of ours, and knew he had a good one. Didn't know anything about it. Didn't know what colour it was, because...
I drove that car. He had it at mine.
Yes, you tried to do a third gear pull on it.
I may be the reason why whenever you got it had a new clutch.
Well, that's a good job you did it.
If anything, I was just looking out for you, like.
Oh, totally. In hindsight, yes, you were.
Nothing to do with the fact that I just want to try and do a third gear burnout.
Yes, and a totally standard EP3.
Yeah, why he let me do that, I don't know.
True. Considering
it's a fat car, like
if anybody's listening to this, realistically, they're thinking you're a dimwit for not researching stuff, and then you're trying to do a third gear pull in a fucking Honda.
The best bit is
standard Honda.
I'm not even that rash.
Oh, you're not? You don't sound it. But so anyway, messaged him, get chatting about it. Found out, so I was hoping deep down that it would be like a Cosmic Grey Premier Edition. Low miles, good one. There's no point looking at any other ones. So found out that yes, Cosmic Grey Premier Edition, and he had resprayed the car bar the roof.
Yes.
And did his own few bits. So Mugen spoiler was already on the car. Saved me a lot of money. Premier Edition, so it came with a fancier interior. And other than that, the car was low mileage at 74,000 miles.
Like in today's day and age, yeah, that's low mileage. Especially like there's so like I don't even want to know how many Type R's there are out there that's maybe on their third time going back on the clocks. Like
you wouldn't believe this, but in the any Facebook group, there's Type R one, and a fella put in that his daily driver, now he was a tradesman, 280,000.
I well believe it, but like them,
and they're still going strong, 100%.
But the K20 is a savage engine.
They are.
Like, they're a phenomenal engine.
So so basically asked him, much do you need for it and that, and he was good enough, and he said, look, I need this amount for the car, and I was like, right, need to get started saving. So October came round, and EP3s at that time decided to go up in value.
Yes.
He was true to his word, and he kept the price.
Fair play
And
to them.
me and Michael decided to go to Ballymoney
To lift it.
to lift the car.
You wouldn't race me home
No, Michael.
in Mexico.
Yes, we were racing from Mexico. But that's because I had just literally given the man my bank account, and I was like, right.
Yeah, I never thought that. I was just like, why is he not going?
The best of it was I was that excited. So there's not very often I find in life where you get pinch me moments, and that was definitely a pinch me moment because, from I suppose from that time in Marfelt, it was like the dream attainable car.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We all have our cars that there's dream cars.
And the Sierra would have been that too, you know.
But you can realistically afford them and
Yeah.
get them and all that crack.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, of course.
I couldn't remember how to get home, and I
Did you know? Did someone overtake you, or did you not overtake someone? And they nearly like. Am I bullshitting here?
You're bullshitting. So, I got you to drive home in front of me because I didn't know how to get home.
I thought I was behind you.
No, you were definitely in front of me, and then you tried to race me because you went way ahead, and I was like, "This bastard's trying to get me to race him." And then we stopped and got a photo, and
That's right. Yeah.
so bought the car then. Had the intention of whenever I bought the car, race Lancers and Coleraine. So I was like, look, I just want to have the car lowered. I had Pro Sport coilovers in the Polo. They were budgets. They were good for fuck all bar lowering the car. They were comfortable and all that crack.
Would you go for Racelands again if you were?
Well, I have them in my daily, which is a Golf.
Yeah.
I look. I'm
I'd
not
race
used
them-
to the ride quality.
Well,
I don't know any different, and I
that's
prefer
true.
it nearly now. So I've put up with it that much that I now prefer it, which doesn't make any sense.
See, I whenever my Alteza had HSDs, like, and I actually knew what a good set of coilovers was like because
Yeah.
the 207 was in Racelands. And
Yes.
the Sierra was in joms in the front and cuts in the rear.
Yes.
So it was shite. But the Alteza had actually like proper good coilovers.
Yes.
I sometimes think that your car's a wee bit wasted not being in like a set of HSDs or BCs or something.
Don't get me wrong, probably down the
A
pipeline.
lot of money.
But so whenever I bought the car, I sort of had set enough aside that I could buy coilovers that day.
Yeah, okay.
We
that's
just couldn't
fair,
get in
like,
contact with them because I think it was by the time Michael decided it would be a great idea to dismantle a silage chiller. So at 3:30, so I'm from a dairy farm and I have to be home to milk.
Yeah.
And
Was it that day we dismantled the stage trailer?
you fucked about some shotgun, and I was
Fuck about some shock.
you do, but anyway, you fucked about some shotgun that we were delayed. We only got down to the car, took it for a test drive, nearly got fucking Vosa coming after us. Either traffic branch, it was traffic branch. So I was about to give the car death, and then we were like, no.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
So
now.
anyway, got the car and always had the intention of hitchcase exhaust. Just love the look of them. Actually found out later down the like in research that they are shit for power gains. So wanted one of them exhausts. Obviously the car lowered. Didn't mind too much the standard wheels, but they're one of those cars that really suits the standard wheels.
Suits the standard wheels, but I don't think enough people put them on OEM. Or not OEM, so I don't think enough people put them on aftermarket wheels because, as you say, or as we say, it's a very much the Irish
thing of
Irish
you
star.
have it. You basically it's like a Sierra with causes and
It's like
twin cam and
your
Revos or something
EP3, lower than EP3 wheels, like with the Maxton kit and the big fucking kick out exhaust on it.
yeah. So
Which it looks good. I personally would love to see something different on your car. It might happen.
if I went as different as you, I might have a car.
If
that would drive.
if you went as different as me, you'd probably be as well booking yourself into the nearest mental home.
Well, maybe I wouldn't go that far, but like, yeah, no, it's so the original plan was basically exhaust lowered. When I got the car, the first thing I wanted to do was tilt the spoiler a bit more for like the kind of wee bit of aggressive look that it gives.
Peak cap, chabby look.
Yes. So, that's just the way I have to be.
So, what do you want to do now?
Well, now I have the car nearly 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I have done the exhaust. I've obviously lowered it. Then whenever I realised that, whenever I got the car, basically, I wanted to drive it all the time. So I drove it through the first winter.
Yeah.
Out of total excitement, and it was a dimwit thing to do.
Yeah. We all told you not to.
But whereas yourself is a sort of fella that you were like, I want to do this, and I don't mind not driving the car for a long time. Like, I thankfully you're gracious enough that you allow me to store my car at your place, and I have withdrawal symptoms, and it's only in 3 weeks.
Oh yeah,
literally. So, every weekend without fail would have drove all the time. So yeah, I've exhaust lowered it. As well, I love having a car with a good radio that just has Bluetooth and works and all that crack. So
I don't have that.
Bought one with CarPlay and all on it, so that like if I was going anywhere with a car, so I actually took the car to the Wild Atlantic Way when it was lowered with exhaust and all that. Car did well for 1,500 mile.
As you would expect.
I absolutely give me no issues at all, bar I had to watch the likes of the scenic routes around Kerry. Fucking abysmal roads. Absolutely abysmal roads.
Just carry 2 litres of oil with you at all times.
Had to carry 2 litres of oil, yes. But I had to actually watch YouTube videos of people driving them roads to see what the roads were like before I drove them, which is fucking sad.
So there's the difference between me and you.
Like,
I would have just wung it, like. I just would have went.
Whereas,
like, whoosh.
So, got the radio in the car. What else really have I done to it? Just the likes of, like maintenance. Maintenance was a big thing. So obviously, if you're so I'd done 20,000 mile in the car in like nearly 2.5 years, which is fucking mad. And anybody I've told that has been like, "Are you crazy?" But just it didn't matter where I was going. Just loved driving it. Like at the minute, I'd love to. I'm saving up basically to get the car mapped. And then I'm after actually there. Suppose now a month ago or so, I got the car undersealed. So that was another thing. So whenever I knew I had a good one, because anybody that had a look at it or any other mates were saying about how solid it was, and with the lowish miles, it sort of made sense that, you better preserve it and you better...
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Not that I'm ever going to sell it, but, so you like fucking with the car completely, and I sort of like just having it, drive it all the time, enjoy it, get the most out of it.
Can't break your heart when it's lying in axle stands.
True, yes, true. So yes, put a Maxton kit on it, did the 421 on it, made a job of the car. So I'm not the type of person that, you've 200 horsepower, let's go flying everywhere and race in it. I am a granda.
You would have been. You would have been back in the day.
Yes.
When petrol was cheaper.
Yes. Not so much anymore, no. I'm a total granda now in the car.
Can't afford to.
No, you really can't afford to. But yeah, I just love it really for the noise and going in the limiter. So whenever I was younger, I always had the joke. So I got the Polo at the time, got a back box delete done to it.
I remember
and
that.
I loved to blip it.
I remember that.
There's something about it.
It's obnoxious.
So because when I was younger, I never actually had the money so I never got a student loan. And it was really only income from the farm, which was very little. So you couldn't really do anything unless somehow you got money out of elsewhere. So whenever I had the money then gathered up, I was fit to do all this with the Civic and basically act like a big child, and still am. But with the car under sale now, and then future plans is to Honda, and I'd say after that, just continue to enjoy it. Yeah. But enough about my Honda. What would be your dream car though?
Do you know assuming I'm still allowed to keep the Sierra?
Yes.
If
money was no object.
Yeah, if money is no object.
If you want the cool cash cop.
I know. Jesus. Making it big there. If money was no objective, no option.
Yeah. No, we don't need a 20-minute conversation about it, Michael.
No. But so I love like Chasers and Laurels and those big body Japanese cars. But I also love Granadas. Like if I didn't have the P100 pickup, I would have a Granada, 100%.
So what like Granada is like
the Granada is basically the big luxury Sierra. in the same way that
Fuck you, love Sierras.
well, yeah, in the same way that like your Chaser is like your big body Lexus.
True, yeah.
So they only ever came with the 2.9 V6, which is what everybody puts in Sierras.
Yeah.
I would love to own a VIP spec, probably same color of red, like the original red color, not the wrapped red color at the minute, but the original red color. VIP spec, like big 18-inch, 19-inch, like big VIP wheels.
Yes.
2JZ for Granada.
So that would be what your dream project.
I don't even think I would leave it as a manual. I think I would keep it automatic.
Fair enough.
And I don't even know if I would go for mega insane horsepower. Actually, I say I'd keep it automatic. I'd probably go for like the BMW.
ZF gearboxes.
Is it the 8P box or something? I think it is. It is a ZF. It's the one with like I think it's like the 8-speed automatic. Yeah.
And basically would you get it mapped to be more like a sequential sort of thing?
It is. Per man sequential, I think is what it basically is. But I say per man's, they're still really expensive. But I would keep it auto.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go for like insane horsepower. Yes. I would still want it to be drivable.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea would be it's just a big luxury bus. But yeah, if money was no object, 2JZ Ford Granada on a big. I'd find some way of putting like a big. I'd find someone who'd fiberglass like a big. I don't even know what kit you get. Is it Origin or?
So you'd want a Jap style Granada with 2JZ on it.
VIP look. Yep. Tend it all around. Full curtains.
Basically, the way that some of the big Lexuses are done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The full VIP spec Granada. That's what I would want if money was no option.
Fuck, that's random.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I didn't see that coming.
Why? What would you do?
Mine is very simple. R34, Bayside Blue, Z-Tune kit.
Yeah.
Basically, well, like, I don't know about you, but Fast and Furious movies whenever I was away in...
Oh, they're more important in life themselves, like.
Oh, totally. Well, like, the first couple of ones, I don't know whatever it is about the Skyline, but, like, I know one of our mates owned an R32, and I would have an R34 and a heartbeat over it.
No, I'd have the R32 every day.
There's one there on Instagram was saying it's been at LZ Fest, not there. You know the blue one with like a 3-piece custom looking wheels, or they're like a OEM type wheel that's made in the 3-piece.
I know that. I know the car. Yeah, I know the car.
That would like have that. But again, if money was no object, do you drive it?
You know what? Like.
Because, well, like,
I suppose if money was no object, you wouldn't care about resale value, and therefore you wouldn't care about how many miles is on it. And the reality is, if it was like a 250,000 mile Skyline, it would probably go for just as much money because people would be like, "Oh my god, that thing has so many miles."
But like,
but if you kept it meticulously clean,
well, like I do like the likes of. I love having obviously a clean car. You would know.
Yeah.
I'm a pain in the arse to watch whenever or to have. Eating in my car or anything like that, but
yeah, I don't really care about cleaning. I fucking hate cleaning cars. Like I fucking hate it.
But I don't know, like the R34 just to me is I'd have it over any supercar or nothing like that.
Oh yeah, like supercars.
They don't really do it.
No, they don't do it for me either. Like, so we've had a crack at a podcast.
Give it a go.
For all 3 people who's probably actually watched this. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate that massively. I have no idea how much of this I will have edited. Probably a lot. And yeah, so thank you very much.
Thanks very much for watching. And
my name is Michael Scullen _ on Instagram. I'll hopefully remember to edit that in as I say that. Conor, you're
Conor .Magoo, I think, or Dash Magoo.
It is Conor .Magoo.
All right,
I took the liberty of looking it up earlier. So you can follow me on Instagram. Follow Conor on Instagram. I think we're maybe that on all socials actually.
Probably. Yeah.
Do you know what? I can't need to get into TikTok more. I don't use TikTok. Really? I feel like I'm above.
You've used it more than me.
I feel like I'm above the age threshold for TikTok.
I am no.
No, just I. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching us.
Yeah,
and Best of luck. See you later.
All the best. And thanks very much for watching.